Hello, thanks for watching another video of ours. Today I'm going to show you how to clean a Hadewe handpiece. In particular, well, the end really, the chuck where the burr sits in, how to clean that and how to successfully loosen any debris and things like that. Now, the handpiece I've got in my hand is from an SPR2 unit that we got in for repair anyway, so I would ordinarily clean these handpieces when we do get them in. So I thought I might as well show you what I do in real time as I do it. This method as well works on virtually all the Hadewe handpieces across the board. Well, all the main expensive handpieces. The cheap handpieces like the MN20A, slightly different method, but this is the one that most people will have, whether it be a spray or a suction drill. So this is like equivalent of a suction one. This is a few years old now, and this is a spray drill. There's no nozzle in the end of the spray drill, may I just add. We've taken that out as we work on that as well. But that doesn't matter because it won't get in the way of what we're going to be doing. Sure to do it with the correct tools as well, and it's pretty straightforward. As long as you've got the tools, you know, you should be well away. And your tools should come with your brand new handpiece. Do check inside the box. Don't just go throwing the box away. Look everywhere in the box because they can be hidden sometimes when they come from Hadewe. Right, let's start. First of all, you need the tools supplied by Hadewe. These are slightly different variations of the tools, just the ones that we've got to hand at the moment. We've got plenty of these. If you do need these tools, by the way, do let us know. We can get some to you. One of them is almost like a nut. Looks pretty straightforward, but as you can see inside, there's two flat edges. It's not just perfectly round. There's two flat edges either side, and the idea being that will sit over the end of the chuck and lock it in place whilst you unscrew it with this tool, which is almost, you could argue, like a screwdriver, but it's only got 3 points going down rather than a cross-headed screwdriver would have. So you have got to use these tools. If you start using any of the tools, you risk totally damaging your handpiece, and the last thing you want. Also, this tool as well, you got use both ends. This takes off the nozzle at the end, and that takes off the chuck, as I'll show you. Other useful things to have: some compressed air. We actually have a compressed air machine, but for small little intricate jobs we use just some of this. Dead easy to use. Just put a little straw in that you get with the can, and it means that you can fire a jet of air down tiny spaces. Really useful to have actually in any sort of cropping surgery, because a lot of dust and debris gets everywhere, so it gets out those, get it cleaned out those little nooks and crannies. Also, like a pipe cleaner sort of cleaner. If you get it from any sort of Wilco's, anything sort of hardware shop like that, smaller the better. And then if need be, we have wipes. These are like sort of disinfectant wipes. They're actually alcohol based, which is fine to use alcohol based as long as you dry the part fully before putting it back in. But these are used for equipment, so that's why we're using these. And then just like this is like a brass wire brush. If there's any sort of really difficult stuff to get off on the actual chuck, we use this. Put them to one side. So the first thing you'll do is at the end of the handpiece you'll see they all have nozzles, and on the nozzle is 2 little indentations. First of all, you get the larger tool. We'll call it like the spanner, so to speak, like a screwdriver sports spanner, and the end with the big hole, and you'll put over the sort of the edges where it's chamfered down, and as you twist, you'll be able to unlock it. So what we see a lot of is people getting pliers on these, and as soon as you get pliers, you damage it scratches, it can bend it, and it's just not really good to use anything other than this really. It's kind of Hadewe's way of designing the handpiece, so they use their tools, and as you screw off, you'll start to see the inside of the handpiece. Put that to one side, don't lose that. Most handpieces now, well, all the Hadewe handpieces operate on this sort of knob open and close system. As you push it up, the chuck opens to put your burr in. As you close it, it closes. We're going to be working with the chuck open at all times, so make sure the knob is pushed up so the chuck is open. Do not try and unscrew it when it's closed, as you'll never get it back to the original setting. There's various washers and bearings obviously in here, and the washers determine how many washers in your handpiece determines how far the chuck opens, and that's why if you start taking all this apart, you lose washers and you'll never get that to work successfully again. Also, it should be quite tough to push. A lot of people say it's quite stiff. They should be stiff because it applies so much pressure to open and then to lock it in place. It's got to be so tight as the burr inside the handpiece, it can't be slipping when in use. Anyway, so then you get your nut sort of tool, and you'll see there's 2 flat edges, And if you look down the end of your handpiece, if you can see that there, the two flat edges correspond with the two flat edges on the end of the chuck. You'll sit them over there like that, and it should sit in place. And as you turn it, you'll see I'm turning the chuck with this sort of nut. Come back to this tool, the spanner, screwdriver slash tool, whatever you want to call it. Simply put this in the end. Again, this is whilst the knob is up in the open position. You put this in the end, and whilst holding the nut, you simply twist, like so. Only twist a few times, and you can do the rest with your hand, like this. Just make sure you're only ever turning the chuck at the very end, not the spindle. Because you're doing the spindle, you're not going to get anywhere. Oh, bless me. Good time to sneeze. So then you slowly screw the chuck, and eventually the chuck will come out. So this is the first time I've taken this chuck out. The first thing we'll do is just put the chuck to one side and just get some air down here. The chance of getting debris down here is very slim, but we just do it anyway, just whilst you've got this out. And remember, always keep this in the up position. Don't start putting this down now. It's just not worth it. The hassle of trying to get it back again. Just keep that in the up position. Put the drill to one side, and we'll work on here. And if we look here, we can actually see there is bits of debris on here. If we can look close, I don't know how close this camera's going to go. And straight away, I can tell that the burr will go in and out if this is cleaned. So air all over. Just get any major bits from inside and outside of the actual chuck. And I get an alcoholic wipe, and I simply just wipe it. It's pretty straightforward, like you clean any instrument really. Try to get some tough wipes, because what I've noticed is there's little holes in the side of these chucks, and bits of the actual cloth can get stuck in there. So just be careful and clean away. And already I've seen that some bits have come out of the middle of that. I'll get my little brass brush just to get down right in the gaps. See the bits coming out here. Very nice. Give it another spray. I'll just move away from the camera because I need to look up to the light of the window. And if you look up to the light of your window, you should see a clear passage all the way through the chuck. If there's anything in there at all, you may need to start using a pipe cleaner. Now, this pipe cleaner is not actually small enough to go right through, so we'll just do the pipe cleaner to the end, the actual chuck end. You can see it's splaying it up as I put it down, and that's just going to remove any flat rubbish in there. And that's about it. Give it one final wipe down, and you're ready to reassemble. Dead easy really, as long as you've got the tools. Put your handpiece again. This goes in the end till it touches the bottom, and then you can start to screw just with your hand until it gets to a point where you can't really grip it anymore and you need to be tighter. So the idea with this is it's obviously reverse of what you've done. Put the nut back over the two flat bits, make sure it's over. Get your tool, your screwdriver, spanner tool, and you want to turn. Now, don't over tighten it. Twist until it stops, which mine has done there, and that's it. Do not over tighten that. If you over tighten it, you'll never get your burr in. And get the burr. Thought I'd lost it then. In the end, nice and tight. If it doesn't feel how it was before you started cleaning it, you over tightened something or under tightened something again. So start the process again. Just make sure you're not over tightening things or under tightening things. You want to tighten it this until it stops at the end, and that's it. Once you start over tightening it, this will become too tight. You won't get your burrs in and out. And then it's just a case of putting your nozzle back on. Take your burr out, keep it in the up position. It's quite good to clean these nozzles actually on the thread. Again, just give it a wipe. They're not that wet, these wipes. They are alcoholic, but they're not overly wet, so I don't need to leave it to dry for that long. It literally dries as I'm spraying it in. Good to clean inside the end as well. All these bits are stainless steel, and potentially the chuck can be autoclaved, but it's quite tiny, so you don't want to lose it. Sorry about that. There was a a dodgy cut on the video because the battery went. So I'm no Steven Spielberg producer or director, so I expect that for these videos. Anyway, so get your nozzle, you cut to one side. Can't remember if I mentioned that you clean it inside, but it's good to clean it inside as well. Give it a good spray or a good wipe if need be. Start to screw it on. Then pick up your spanner type screwdriver tool, and that's obviously with the 2 flatheads. Reverse what we did earlier, as mentioned, and screw back on. And again, don't over tighten this. No need to over tighten it, just until it stops. And there you have it. Make sure your burst goes in and out, which it does, and you're fine. In terms of over cleaning of the handpiece, again, alcoholic wipe on the outside, in the little grooves. On this one in particular, what I would be doing is probably eventually when the wire's back on and all the tubes are back on, I'll be spraying inside these vents here. Spraying inside these vents here. So again, that's where the air comes in from the bottom, gets from the motor brings the air in from the bottom, takes the air over the motor to cool it, and out of these vents. And as soon as these vents start getting blocked, that's when you can overheat. If I was cleaning the outside of this one, that wouldn't apply, as the suction actually cools the motor. It doesn't rely on air naturally coming in from over the motor. So again, I just clean the plastic up. We have a sort of plastic cleaner here which brings it up nice and clean. But that's about it. That's all really I advise you do at home. Anything more than that, it gets a bit more complicated when you get into the spindle of the handpiece, especially the motor and the brushes. And we advise that you send it to us to do any sort of thing like that. As soon as you start taking these apart at this end or either end, in this case the motor slides out the top. As soon as you start taking them apart, there's bearings, washers, and all sorts of C-clips, rings. And as soon as they come out, you'll never know which order they'll go back in, and you've had it really. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Any questions, put them in the comments below, or you can email us, and yeah, thank you.